Ava knocked, but I didn't answer. I pretended to sleep when she opened the door. She stood there for a moment and quietly walked away. I hated how much I missed her even as she closed the door behind her. Enveloped the letter that changed everything. The next day, I stayed silent. I didn't speak at breakfast. Didn't text her back. Didn't meet her eyes. That afternoon, when I came back from school, there was an envelope on my pillow. No name on it. Just a pink sticker sealing the flap. Inside was a letter written in Ava's handwriting. Emily. I messed up. I panicked. I was talking to someone I didn't trust, and I tried to say something to protect you, and ended up hurting you instead. You're not a phase. You're not a trend. You're not something to manage or hide. You're you. I'm sorry I didn't say that when it mattered most. I've spent our whole lives being your sister. But I want to be your safe place, not your regret. Please don't give up on Emily. And don't give up on me. Ava. I sat on the bed for a long time, holding the letter. My hand shook. My heart ached. And then I reached under the bed, pulled out the shoebox, and opened it again. A name no one gave me. The shoebox sat on my lap like it was glowing. After the party, after the bathroom betrayal, after Ava's letter. I hadn't known what to feel. But the truth was still inside me. I could feel it pulsing in my chest, whispering the name I had never said out loud to anyone but myself. Emily. Even now, as I ran my fingers across the satin headband she gave me months ago, I realized something. Ava had hurt me, but she still saw me in ways no one else did. And maybe that mattered more than one mistake. Love letter the forgiveness. I didn't run into her room crying. I didn't send a dramatic reply. I just slid her letter under her door, with one sentence written across the bottom in purple pen. Emily still wants her sister. 10 minutes later, Ava burst into my room without knocking, eyes glassy and terrified. You read it? I did. I'm so sorry. I never meant. I know, I whispered. She hugged me so hard it hurt, and this time I let myself cry. Camera, the old camera. That weekend, Ava did something different. She pulled an old instant camera out of her closet, the kind that spits out a picture and takes a minute to develop. What's that for? I asked. For you, she said. For Emily. I blinked. You want to take pictures? I want you to take pictures, she said. Of yourself. Of how you feel when no one's looking. Just for you. She handed me the camera like it was something sacred. And for the first time, I looked in the mirror while dressed and thought, I want to remember this. Not hide it. Not regret it. Remember it. Click. The photo slipped out. My reflection captured in one small frame, not perfect, not polished, but mine. File folder, the secret folder. Over the next few weeks, I filled an entire shoebox with photos. Some of them were blurry. Some were off-center. But each one felt like a tiny flag planted in unfamiliar ground. Here I am. Here I still exist. I started scanning them to a password-protected folder on my laptop. Each picture was like a conversation with myself. And slowly, I noticed something. I was smiling more. Even as Evan, even at school. Like Emily's joy was leaking into my outer world, even if no one knew. Cloud then came the slip. It was bound to happen. I had gotten too comfortable. One Thursday morning, I overslept and threw on jeans in a rush, forgetting that the panties I was wearing were not from the boys' section. By gym class, I was changing in the locker room when Ryan Mendez, the nosiest guy in school, glanced down at the waistband peeking out and squinted. Dude, are those flowers? My stomach dropped. I yanked my shirt down and mumbled something, but the damage was done. The whispers spread before lunch. By 7th period, someone had drawn a little pink bow on my locker with the words, Pretty Petals, Evan written in Sharpie. I wanted to disappear. The trap Ava didn't see coming. Ava noticed immediately when I got in the car after school. Who did it? She asked. I don't want to talk about it. Too bad. I'm your sister. It's my job to go full nuclear. I smiled weakly. It's not a war, Ava. It is if they touch my sibling again. That night, after dinner, Ava logged onto her Instagram. She posted a photo, a close-up of my pink bow locker graffiti, and wrote, Whoever thinks femininity is an insult must be terrified of how powerful it really is. It went viral. Like, crazy viral. She never said my name. Never revealed my secret. But the caption? The photo? The tone? Everyone at school knew exactly what it was about. And someone wasn't happy about it. Police garlight the text that changed everything. 2 days later, Ava got a text from an anonymous number. Your brother's a freak. Protecting him won't save you. She didn't show it to me until the weekend. But when she did, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Fear. Real, stomach-churning fear. The message and the mask. The anonymous text to Ava wasn't just a threat. It was a message. You're being watched. You're being judged. This isn't safe. Ava told me the truth 2 nights after she received it. We were sitting on the porch swing, her hands trembling slightly despite the warm evening air. Emily, she said, I need to show you something. She handed me her phone, and I read the message twice. I felt like I was being dragged into the deep end of a pool I couldn't swim in. Your brother's a freak. Protecting him won't save you. My stomach flipped. That's not just bullying, I said. That's a threat. I know, Ava whispered. And I'm not going to pretend it's nothing. But we're not backing down. Desktop computer, the online storm. The post Ava made, the one calling out the locker graffiti, was shared over 1,000 times. It sparked debate, support, and, unfortunately, hate. Troll accounts started popping up. One post called her the freak's fairy godmother. Another shared a blurry hallway photo of me, taken without my knowledge, captioned, Guess she forgot her closet door open today. We both panicked. Ava reported everything. She got her friends to help flag and mass report the accounts. But the damage was already spreading. I was a secret no longer fully secret. Coat the hoodie strategy. Ava came up with a plan. Until things cooled off, I'd go full stealth mode, hoodies, baggy jeans, headphones in, eyes down. Just get through school. I agreed, but not because I wanted to hide. I just didn't want to fight. Not yet. Not like this. But hiding doesn't stop pain. It just delays it. Person standing Ava's breaking point. One afternoon, after a particularly brutal school day where someone left tampons in my locker with a note that said, For your transition, I found Ava crying in the car. I'm trying so hard, she said. But I can't stop this. I can't protect you. Her voice cracked in a way that shattered me. She wasn't just scared. She felt responsible. I don't want you to carry this alone, I said, placing a hand on her arm. I'd carry it for both of us if I could, she said. But you don't have to, I whispered. Not anymore. Red envelope, the teacher's offer. A week later, one of the most unexpected things happened. Miss Hadley, my English teacher, quiet, reserved, but always fair, asked me to stay after class. When the bell rang and everyone cleared out, she shut the door and sat down across from me. I don't mean to pry, she said gently. But I've noticed, things haven't been easy for you lately. I tensed. Your sister's post. The locker incident. The online comments. I swallowed hard, unsure what to say. Then she added, I wanted you to know, if there's ever anything you need, I'm a safe adult. No judgment. No assumptions. I couldn't speak. But something shifted inside me. She didn't say my name. She didn't need to. She saw me. Love letter, the letter Ava didn't expect. That night, I did something I'd been afraid to do for months. I opened a blank page and started writing a letter to Ava. Not a text. Not a note. A real, handwritten letter from Emily, not Evan. Dear Ava, I don't know what tomorrow will bring. Maybe someone else will laugh. Maybe another message will show up. But every time I've almost given up, you've pulled me back. You didn't just lend me clothes. You lent me space to breathe. You made me visible. So now I want to give you something back. The truth. I'm not just a boy who wants to dress pretty. I'm not confused. I'm not playing dress up. I'm a girl. I'm Emily. And I think I always was. Love. Your sister. She read the letter in my room later that night. When she finished, she folded it slowly and held it to her chest. Then she looked at me with teary eyes and whispered, Thank you for letting me meet you. School a bold invitation. The next day, Ava met me after school with a wild idea. Next Friday, she said, is the spring showcase. I blinked. The talent show thing? She nodded. I'm submitting your photography. The self-portraits. Only if you say yes. My heart dropped. That's not a small step. That's a cliff. Maybe it's time we jump. The showcase and the spotlight. When Ava said, maybe it's time we jump, I thought she was being metaphorical. She wasn't. She meant submitting my photographs, the secret self-portraits of Emily, to the spring showcase. She meant putting them on display in the school gallery. In front of classmates, teachers, my parents. She meant no more hiding. And somehow I said yes. Frame picture the photo wall. Friday arrived too fast. The gym had been transformed into a pop-up gallery. String lights dangled above white display boards. Tables lined the walls, each one featuring art, writing, performances, or photography from students. Mine was on the far left. A quiet corner. A single board labeled, Untitled Series, Anonymous Student. 12 black and white photographs. Each one taken in my bedroom. Each one of Emily. Not Evan. Some with makeup. Some with none. Some smiling. Some crying. All of them me. Children crossing, walking the floor. Ava walked beside me as the crowd drifted in. Students, faculty, parents. People mingled, pointed, whispered. Some passed our corner without a glance. Then a girl I barely knew, Alani, from chemistry class, stopped in front of the display. She stared at the photos for a long time. Then whispered to her friend, "That's not a costume. That's someone figuring out who they are." I nearly broke. I wanted to fall into Ava's arms. But I stayed still. Because in that moment, I realized something. I wasn't hiding behind the camera anymore. Man teacher, the principal's gaze. But not everyone was impressed. Mr. Callahan, the vice principal, stood across the gym for several minutes, watching the photo wall. His expression unreadable. When he finally approached, Ava tensed beside me. I did too. "These photos," he said slowly, "were submitted anonymously?" "Yes, sir," I said quietly. He looked from me to the wall, then back again. "I've worked at this school for 20 years, he said. "And I've never seen a submission like this." I waited for the judgment. But instead, he said, "It's brave. And beautiful." And then he walked away. Megaphone the announcement. Near the end of the night, the MC got on stage. "This year," she said, "we had one submission with no name, no title, but more comments and positive reactions than anything we've ever displayed." A spotlight hit the photo wall. And I knew. "This series reminds us that identity isn't always loud," the MC continued. "Sometimes, the most powerful stories are the ones whispered behind locked doors. Until someone dares to open them." People clapped. Loudly. And then they started looking around. For the artist. For me. Or Emily's decision. I had two choices. Step forward. Or disappear. Ava squeezed my hand. "You don't have to," she whispered. But I knew I did. Because this wasn't just about a few photos anymore. This was about Emily. About claiming her place, even if just for a moment. So I walked to the front of the gym. I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. I just stood beneath the spotlight, turned to the wall of photos. And nodded. That was enough. Clapping hands, the applause. The room went quiet. Then someone clapped. Then another. Until the whole room echoed with applause. I wasn't smiling. I was shaking. But I didn't run. Because I wasn't running anymore. Mobile phone the DM. Later that night, I got a message request on Instagram. It was from a classmate I hadn't talked to in 2 years. Harper. A shy, artsy girl who always sat alone at lunch. "I saw your photos. I just wanted to say thank you. I haven't told anyone yet, but I think I'm non-binary. Seeing someone like you made me feel less alone." My hands trembled. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed, "You're not alone. Not even close." The day they finally saw me, the spring showcase was over. But its ripple hadn't faded. People smiled at me in the halls. Some nodded silently. Others whispered behind hands. But for the first time, I didn't shrink away. Because now, they weren't whispering about Evan. They were whispering about Emily. Open mailbox with raised flag, the envelope. 1 week later, it happened. It was a Saturday morning. Mom and Dad had gone through the mail, and as I passed through the kitchen, Mom held up a thick envelope. "This one's from the school," she said, brows furrowed. I froze. Dad opened it casually, flipping through papers. "Must be about that art show you were in," he said. "Nice photos, by the way." I nearly choked. "Wait, what?" "They featured your photo wall in the newsletter," Mom said, turning her phone to show me the post. "Didn't use your name, but we saw the comments. Everyone's saying it was you." Silence. Everything slowed. I looked from Mom to Dad. Waiting. Waiting for anger. Or confusion. Or worse, disappointment. Instead, Dad just said, "That was you, right?" I nodded slowly. And then, "Well," he said, "guess we've got ourselves 2 daughters now." My heart stopped. Mom smiled. "We kind of always did," she said quietly. Revolving hearts, the conversation I feared most. We sat around the kitchen table that morning for over an hour. I told them everything. About the name. The photos. The nights Ava helped me sneak around. The texts. The bullying. The fear. And most of all, the relief of finally being seen. They didn't say all the right things. But they didn't say the wrong ones either. Dad admitted it would take time. Mom asked what support I needed. They both said, "We love you." No matter what. That's all I had ever wanted. Shopping bags, a shopping trip with 2 sisters. A few days later, Mom surprised me. "We're going to the mall," she said. "Why?" "I think my daughter needs some clothes that don't come from Ava's closet." I stared at her. She winked. "Don't worry, Ava's coming too. You need her for eyeliner decisions." That day was a whirlwind. We laughed. We cried. We argued over skirts versus jeans. And for the first time in public, I heard Mom say, "Emily, what do you think of this one?" She said my name like it was a song she'd finally learned how to sing. Microphone the assembly that changed everything. 2 weeks later, the school hosted a mental health awareness assembly. I didn't sign up to speak. But Ms. Hadley, my English teacher, asked if I would consider it. Just a few words. I thought I'd say no. Instead, I stood up at the mic, looked out at hundreds of students, and said, "My name is Emily. You may know me as someone else. That's okay. But I'm learning to live out loud now because the closet wasn't just cramped. It was crushing. And I'm not going back in." The room was still. Then applause. Real, thunderous, honest applause. And somewhere in the second row, Ava stood up and clapped the hardest of all. Notebook the final photo. That night, I took one last photo with Ava's old instant camera. Not in secret. Not alone. Ava stood beside me, arms wrapped around my shoulders. We smiled into the lens together. The picture printed out and developed slowly, colors warming in the light. I pinned it above my bed. It wasn't a goodbye to the old me. It was a hello to the girl who had always been waiting. Sparkling Heart Epilogue, 1 year later. I go by Emily now. Full time. My friends know. My teachers know. My family knows. The whispers faded. New ones came. Better ones. I mentor one of the younger students, Harper, who came out as non-binary a few months after the showcase. Miss Hadley still checks in on me. Ava still raids my closet. And Mom and Dad? They're learning. Still loving. Still growing. So am I. And I know now. I didn't find myself in my sister's closet. I freed myself there. Clapperboard, end of story.